We have a lot of new viewers to the show, so I just want to explain a couple of things before we start. First of all, this is the last episode where you'll have to see me in my pandemic haircut homeless guy look. And second, I make it a point to keep my personal opinions and any kind of political statements as much out of the show as possible. This is an exception, and it's necessary for the story and the theme of the show. So as you watch, keep in mind, it's never the goal of the show to tell you how to think, only to encourage you to think of things from a new perspective. Previously on Adam Walks Around. I'm going to Manila and then going to LA.
When's the right on?
But I'm not staying.
In all the places I've been, I don't think I've ever felt more alien. The reason I'm home is to clear out all the rest of my possessions.
They've rescinded all of the visas for foreigners in the Philippines.
Nobody will let us in. I can't go home and have no home here anymore. I'm starting to despair a little. Just seeing those mountains today, I want to be there so bad. You want social distancing? I'm more than willing to give it to you, America. Los Angeles. City right now racked with protest. People seeking justice. People whose frustrations have reached a boiling point. People that are tired of being cooped up for the last 2.5 months. It's all exploding right down there. And I'm up here. I've had a few people wonder why I haven't spoken up. It seems like we have to have thoughts line up just a certain way to meet other people's approval, where there's only room for 2 modes of thought, only room for 2 bubbles of life experiences to prevail. But it can at least be down there in the streets showing my solidarity, right? Well, yeah. If we weren't in the middle of a pandemic where we've been told for the last 2.5 months that it isn't our risk to take, yeah, if that wasn't the case, I'd probably be down there. So what do I believe? Well, I'll tell you what I don't believe in. I don't believe 2 artificially divided modes of thinking that end at the borders of America are the be-all and end-all of human thought. I don't believe that I can just carve out my own life experience and the people that I like and define that in and define everything else out as the things we're thinking about, talking about, or considering when we decide how we're going to run the world. So why am I up here not protesting? What makes you think I'm not?
Walk to the street in diamond rain, and I just disappear.
It looks like my worst fears have been confirmed. The U.S.'s slapdash response to the coronavirus means I could easily be stranded here for another 6 months. I don't find myself resonating with the country of my birth at all. To be honest with you, when I left the U.S., it was partly because I was harboring quite a bit of anger at my home culture, and I just didn't want to fight it or bum out everybody else's trip. I was much happier in Asia. Now that I'm forced to be here and things are the same but a lot worse, a lot of that anger's coming back, and I don't like being that guy. So I'm going to try to work that out up here. It's a slow process. Self-isolation, the #1 way to fight COVID, and I'm going to try to do it without going all Unabomber on you. You take away all that crap, all the cultural limitations and ideas and political division and the ways we shut each other off from one another, which has just been made 10 times worse by this whole thing. And you get out here where there's no COVID and there's no people, there's just what God put here. And God, what a beautiful country. This is what we're going to do. Does that sound you hear? That is a very angry rattlesnake. I guess I walked right by that guy and he didn't even notice till he went past, because I heard him and I looked around and he was the full-on coiled up, rattling. I wish I could have caught it on camera, but I was too shocked at trying to get away. Rattlesnakes are one of the deadliest things you can run into out here, but I don't really have a big problem with them. They tend to be pretty lazy. See a rattlesnake and go on with your life. A little bit less scared of things. That's the kind of life I want. A country, when it starts out, is just land. It's an empty shell. You have a certain amount of space to work with and a certain amount of raw material to build with. What made the difference, as much as the capacity and the raw material, is what you fill this up with. As problematic as the media is, and the politicians are, and the problems we have are, that's not why I left. I left because I spent my entire adult life trying to tell people that they needed to listen to each other, because they were the engine, they were the thing that filled up the tank. And as long as we kept blaming everybody but ourselves, we couldn't solve any problem. Why do we have such a huge tank, such huge capacity to fix our problems, but we never can because we don't want to fix them? We want to yell at each other. We've got a media that's more than happy to provide all the evidence we need that the other half of the country, or whoever it is that we're mad at, is an asshole. And yet the other day, when I put up a post on Facebook of a white dude and a black dude that just put out a sign in their front yard and said, "We're going to sit down and have a beer. You want to have a beer with us?" 500 people shared that. Because that's where we want to be at. And yeah, there's a lot of people in this country that are doing some pretty horrible stuff. And depending on who you are, it's probably a different set of people. But I guarantee you, no matter how repugnant you think their belief is, whether you're liberal or conservative or whatever, they have a reason in their life experience for feeling that way. And if you don't hear it out, if you just tell them who they are, then they'll never get a chance to tell you what that is, and they'll never be a part of this big tank. They'll always be standing out here. And the more people we define out of this tank, the more empty this tank is gonna be. And it's about as good for nothing as this old piece of crap. So let's remember those immortal words from our founding fathers. What are we looking out for? Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, liberty and justice for all. Okay, life, liberty, still got some. Justice for all, we're going real hard for that. What are we missing? Happiness. One of the first things I realized when I got stuck here is I got no right to leave. I can complain about it, but all I can do is make the best of it. Human inspiration and human happiness do not derive from easy and perfect lives. They derive from rising to challenges, trying new and exciting things, and forging bonds of community. And I can tell you, from living in the third world and living in poor countries where people ain't got crap and they're oppressed in ways that you can't even imagine, yet they're happier than we are. Why? Because they get this. As tough as their lives were, they reached for joy. Why is that not part of our culture anymore? Why do we not value that? Why do we not value fairness? The idea that I'll hear you out. Yes, it's time to listen. And then I get to say something back, and you listen. When did we lose track of this very basic idea? You ever wonder why I can walk around pretty much unmolested in countries that Americans generally consider dangerous? Well, because they're not taught to fear. The mindset that makes us think everything that we have here in America is something to be guarded, whether it's our personal prerogatives or our possessions or our land, that's learned behavior. Culture is how other people tell us to contextualize the things that happen to us. Your country, your religion, your political belief, especially the people around you, they give you the clues to figure out how you should be reacting to the things that happen to you. But there's a lot of different ways to react to things. The fact is, you can react to any experience any way you feel that empowers you. You don't have to tell anybody about it if you think it's going to get you in trouble. But yeah, all those social cues, that's all they are. They're just cues. And when you get right down to it, they're advice to how to live your life, but they're someone else's advice based on how they lived their lives. It's 4th of July. Ugh. I don't like fireworks. Had enough of them back in episode 31. So I'm getting as far away from all that as I can. A lot of what upset me about being trapped in America was there was an entire mindset that I had to unlearn, both to get myself out of depression and to get myself out of the States. Spirit of challenge, of discovery that used to be part of our culture, we're now encouraged to let that go. Conform, think one way or the other, don't stray from the crowd. And if you do, the consequences are grave. And I've been up here almost every day for the last 6 weeks because this is developing that life, maintaining that adventure part of me, the youthful part of me that I guarded for so many years, that enables me to still have adventures in my 50s. If you don't push yourself, you'll never know what you can do. I mean, thank God there was no social media when I was young. I made a lot of mistakes. Thankfully, most of them weren't that serious, and the people forgave me, and I learned from them. Those negotiations are where life is really lived, and where we really learn what people are like. And I'm much the wiser for it, for having tried, screwed up, dusted myself off, and the world didn't end. If the world does end every time we make a mistake, how are we ever going to advance as a society? How are we ever going to acquire the experience of living life to its fullest? No matter which direction you move in your life, you're going to adversely affect somebody or something else, even if it's only by invalidating their choices in their mind, because you did something that they didn't do. The glorious, messy grandeur of how life is really lived. I've had one of the most amazing lives of anybody I know. I've fulfilled most of my dreams, and a lot of that was losing the fear of embarrassment and making a mistake. And how many people get that these days? By the way, if you're wondering how I found this trail, what book I looked in, what hiking guide, what website, none. I just looked around and I found it. That's what I'm talking about. And if you're saying, hey, that's too risky for me, that's cool. Not everybody has to be an adventurer. But if we have a culture where we tell people that that's something that they shouldn't do, there won't be any. What's been so depressing about being here is being on social media and seeing how many people are locked in the same ideas, the same modes of thinking over and over, and they're sucking in all the information that they can just to keep them in that place. And I look on my Facebook feed every day to see something new, something different, something that's going to make me think of something new. And then when I put that out there, a lot of people get upset. You know, because they won't, it's not the thing that they're thinking, so it's got to be that other thing. And I'm thinking, what a dull way to live. We replaced the spirit of curiosity with the spirit of fear. The desire to understand replaced by the drug of self-righteous indignation. A drug more powerful and more addictive than heroin. We've mainlined those messages through our media for a generation, and now we've reaped the whirlwind, where we become a label and not a citizen or a fellow human being. This is an old road that was built through Angeles Crest, I think in the early 1930s. Saw a piece of it further up, checked an old map, figured out where I'd catch it. It's a trail that some people know is here because someone else was on it when I got here. Still stuff to discover, but you gotta look. You gotta look. Down in the canyon, this is cool. You don't see this too much. It's an old bridge. It's still here from when this was a road, and it's still here for us to walk over. Had no idea this was here. Yeah. I was allowed to cross a few lines and make a few mistakes because people knew that I meant well. In fact, most of my life that's been the way. And I never would have been able to find this road if I wasn't that kind of a person. Well, maybe I could. Maybe it's online somewhere. I don't know. But there's nobody here, is there? This is pretty cool, isn't it? And I got to discover it for myself. By the way, that's poison oak. Don't touch that. Around here, the old map said there were some buildings. I'm guessing they were in that flat area over there. And look up there. It's like guardrails or something. Anyway, over here, that's going to be where we're going to stop. When you see a stand of trees like that, out in the middle of nowhere like this, I would guess that's where the buildings were, whatever they were. And there's a little side trail going to it, so we'll go see what's there. Yeah, there's a piece of something. That's not natural, that's a foundation or maybe a piece of, I don't know what it is, but they're not going to let us go in there, are they? Okay, let's see what we got here. Say hello to my shadow. So this is a stand of trees. Well, sure is a nice place for something. Pretty much Adam's rule of thumb is if I don't bring enough water, I wind up somewhere really freaking cool. Look at that. Wow. If someone did live here, they picked a nice spot. Something over there. I see something flat and stony. Oh, look, and there's some boards over there. Right there, see? We found it. There's a foundation. There's some, I don't know what that is, an old table? Old picnic table. Maybe when, yeah, because this would have been part of the park. Even in the old days, there's a old metal piping back there. I don't know if you can see it real well. This could have been a campsite in the early days of the Angeles National Forest. Ah, cool. So it doesn't explain what those iron railing things were. I think those must be rock catchers for the road below. And actually, if you look over there by the old roadbed, you can see there used to be telephone poles. Just heard a crash, and now I see that. Let's go find out what just happened. This isn't good terrain or weather for making good speed. Oh yeah. Is anybody hurt? Were you guys able to get 911 cell reception?
No, I think a couple guys went up to get the Rangers though.
Okay.
Do you guys know what mile marker this area is?
There's no reception here. I'll go look. You guys stay here, I'll go look for the mile marker. There's the mile marker. You can probably see it better than I can. 23.46. Who wanted the mile marker? Pretty quick work. I don't think that was more than 15 minutes from when I heard the crash. Yeah, it's funny, right before I heard that impact down on the trail, I could hear a car just tearing through here. Sports cars really like to go run around this place. So I don't know, might have been those two burly guys, but you know, who knows. This is another one of my old favorite trails. I've been up here in a long time. That's Los Angeles down there. Hard to believe, isn't it? There's just so much good stuff around here. I know there used to be a trail through here, and further up there's like little rods that are stuck into the side of the hill where people actually used to cling to a cable as they were going around it. It's pretty terrifying to look at. Hey, here's what I'm talking about. Here's the tunnel, and they built that in '42. So before that, you see that little crease? That was the trail. And you see those little rods sticking up out? That had like a little cable that would help people to negotiate that. And would you walk that? I don't know if I would. Now we got this tunnel, and that's fine with me. I don't need to do that. Holy crap. You know, it's funny how much I've been flashing back to the late 80s lately. That's when I first got here to Los Angeles. Well, I didn't know anyone, actually. And that's when I first discovered a lot of these trails. And that was when I was really hanging out in Angeles Crest. And with this pandemic going on, despite all the people I know from 30 years of living here, might as well be the same situation. I've only seen a handful of friends since I've been back, and even then kind of infrequently. So it's pretty much the same solitary deal as when I first got here. And since this is likely to be my last period living in Los Angeles, I guess there's something fitting about it ending where it started, with me just kind of alone up here. Someone who shares some of my ambivalence about where American culture has gone said something that resonated with me. He said that America had lost its sense of wonder. That sense of wonder is what I got out of going to Asia, the idea that there were far horizons, things to explore, adventures to have. And I don't think I was the only one who was feeling that lack here. I think it's a lot of what drives the drug problems that we've got. I think it's a lot of what drives some of the crazier political beliefs people get into. I mean, anything to give people a grip on some wider world, some larger purpose, some sense of community, all the stuff that we used to have. And it's been drummed out of our culture. This is why I wanted to bring you here. There's still some sense of wonder to be had if you look hard enough. But you do have to look kind of hard. Wow. August. No end in sight. Cases spiking in the U.S. Cases spiking in Los Angeles County. Manila's back on lockdown. Just gotta hope that after this things will start to fizzle out, but no guarantees. Oh my goodness. There's a lot about this situation I don't like, but I'm grateful that with everybody in the world going through some stuff, I got this. Yeah, they've been building a pathway up here. It's not quite finished, almost. What's going on up here? Are you building the steps?
This is the one brother is coming every Friday.
So your brother's building the stairs up to here? That's amazing, man.
Many people's coming on Friday and Saturday.
Pretty wild. I'm not sure that wasn't like an angel or something, or an angel.
You want to water?
Oh no, I'm good. I have some in my car.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. It's right down there. Thank you so much, sir. I don't see too many people up here, so.
Yeah, there's on Friday and Saturday. There's many people. There's the brothers coming here. The brave, only brave. The son too. That's us.
Well,
Coming maybe sometimes it's 100, 150, 75.
God bless you too, man. Thank you. Wild. Probably the only person you're gonna see besides me this whole episode. The only problem with these stairs is now we gotta go down. Well, it's the middle of the night. See, this is what you don't want. You don't want a big rattlesnake who's not moving. He's waiting for me to do something. I'm waiting for him to do something. And it's dark and yeah. Okay, I'm going over here. You stay there. See that rattle right there. Hope there's nothing. There he goes. There he goes. Yeah, go in there. Stay. Yeah. Yeah. Let's just hope there's no more of these guys. I'm kind of loving the nightlight these days. Yeah, I hear you, dude. I'm leaving. All right. So yeah, it's now I don't even know what month it is. Middle August, and it's really hot. So I'm doing night hiking. So yeah, nothing else really to report. One more rattlesnake. Hey dude, move. Move. There we go. Keep going. Keep going. Go that way. Go that way. You. Ah, yes. Nice and peaceful. I hear you taste like chicken. Well, it's an amazing view. Too bad about the whole heat stroke part of things. Yeah, I didn't bring enough water. And I got a ways to get back. And my hip's acting up. But I'm looking at it like it's a survival, what do they do in the Army? Survival thing. Oh. Well, if I can't find adventure in the U.S., I'll create one, I guess. Two birds following me around are crows, not buzzards. That makes me happy. Oh, another gully. I should be okay once I get there. You know, as dumb as this is, how do I put this? I really need to push myself right now. I need to not get settled or complacent. And keep testing my capabilities. And as I've said before, that does not come without a certain degree of risk. Oh, another one of these things, damn it. Thinking maybe a margarita later. Or 2 or 3. Oh man, that's a hell of a view. Oh, another gully, crap. Car's only about a mile and a half. There's a road up there about half a mile. Should be able to make it. I'm careful. These gullies are deep, weed choked and tiresome. Okay, there's the bicycle trail. Once I strike that up there, I should be okay. Oh, another gully. Great. Yeah, as tough as this one is and as sore as I am, I think I kind of needed this. It's real easy when you're having to do this much waiting for your right moment to get lazy. Just over this rise, I should be home free. Not home, but home free. Oh, yeah. Okay. So way down there at the bottom, that's where my car is, but there's a trail all the way there, so. One more huge gully. You just had to do it to me. Oh! Here we go. Well, I fell on my ass, but I needed to rest anyway, so that's fine. Oh, last gully, one before I go to bed. Ooh, made it. Life is probably going to be less easy in the final whatever phase of life I'm heading into. But I'd rather it be difficult in a way that's interesting to me. So this is a good way, I guess, to get my mind and body ready for that reality.